So the secular or socialist or Platonic, people who came from the Jews, who were involved in this effort to destroy religion in general, right? They were very, very against any Jewish migration to the Holy Land, as they called it at that time. But the writing was on the wall because the migrations never stopped. So they saw, people were able to project that there was going to be, in one way or another, a giant, huge population flood of Jews going there, because it was increasing at an exponential rate as you get closer to the 20th century. Nothing, even without World War II. Some people think World War II was actually, one of the purposes was to stop it. Some people think that, okay? So when they realize they're not going to be able to stop it, they're like, okay, maybe we'll take over. We'll run.
Right, can I just jump in for 1 second? There was
almost
an event.
done. Almost done.
No, meaning it's connected to what you're saying, but it needs to be said that the Dreyfus affair was the thing, I think, that was what precipitated for these people that Frank is talking about, for them to realize that secular Jews, or all Jews, need a state. Meaning Herzl witnessed what he witnessed. He was just a kind of a mid-level journalist, as it were, and he was in Austria, but he was witnessing this whole situation happening in France with this Colonel Dreyfus. And he said to himself, there's going to come a time where we're just going to have to get the heck out of here. The guy himself was Herzl. Many people don't talk about this, especially in the kind of pro-Israel circles. He thought that all Jews should convert to Christianity, these Jews in Europe. And then he changed his mind later on. It's a whole story with him. But
he wanted Uganda.
Yeah, but
I heard that.
Yeah, he thought that the Jews have a state. I don't know if he was, well, at one point he was,
tried that in Russia too, Birobidzhan.
Birobidzhan. At one point he was talking about Uganda, but then he realized, it was the first, they had the first Zionist council in Basel at the end of 1890 something, I believe. And so that's when kind of secular Jews who arrived from all over the Jewish world in Europe were like, okay, we're gonna do this. They already had like the first wave or the second wave of Aliyah, of immigration. They saw that there was already infrastructure. They saw that there were towns built up, Petach Tikva, Rishon LeZion, all these towns from mid-1800s, 1840, right? Hasidic Jews built Petach Tikva in 1840, 1850. And they're like, okay, so we're gonna go there. We're gonna run stuff, because these guys clearly, they're just like these schleppy people with their farms and their religion and their superstition, and we're gonna be the ones to run it because we know how to run stuff. We're the intellectuals.
Well, I think that's some of the BS that they were peddling, but the reality,
of course,
the idea of the enemy of Platonics actually establishing a successful state and realizing some sort of like religious prophecy, they had to stop that at all costs. Yeah. So essentially, they're like, we're going to, if we can't stop it, if we can't stop the people showing up there, we gotta take over and interfere with it as much as possible.
Well, the British did a load of that, like, right all the way up through to and through World War II and a little bit afterwards before they just.
There was a lot of there were many parties who were trying to do all sorts of things, but in some way they're all related in that mission. For that particular little tiny piece of land in that region. So basically, that's what they were trying to do. That's obviously why they got the blessing from Stalin during the UN vote about establishing, right? Because they thought, hey, maybe we can make a socialist utopia in the place that's the most anti-social. What a trophy that would be for the Platonics to establish their utopia in the place where their greatest enemy. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like the contrast, it would be like a great psychological victory.
Yeah, psychological propaganda for sure.
Yeah, right. So it would be a great trophy. So they tried to do that. And again, religious Jews, they were just living on the land, and essentially they don't give a damn about. They only care about their relationship to God, living on the land, and doing the commandments related to the land. That was like the whole point of it. Okay. And we weren't really getting a chance to have a government based on Torah. Okay. So so essentially they realized, when I say they, I'm talking about this, what really is a foreign entity to the Jews, who have been the political class of Israel since its inception. Okay,
So you're
of
talking
modern.
about people like Nahum Goldman and Shane Wiseman and people like that, the people who created
Chaim
the
Weizmann, yeah.
original. Yeah.
If I could just jump in
Regular Jews were not allowed, or still not allowed, anywhere near the political class.
Mm.
The only one who ever came near, possibly, it was Meir Kahane. They killed him. He had he was almost. He got so close that they got so scared that they just basically assassinated him. Okay, so
Frank, if I can mention for 1 second,
I really need to wrap this up. Okay, I want to.
Man.
Why are you guys fighting? All right, so basically, around the, I would say, the mid 70s, maybe the early 80s, I think they understood finally that the people, the Jews, the majority of the population, which are made up of religious Jews, or kind of religious Jews, or Jews that don't really, but they have respect. They still, they'll come over for Shabbat meal. They believe in God. They'll go to a disco, but they'll sit at Shabbat dinner with their rabbi father. But they still have respect. They're not enemies of it. So that's who the Israeli population is. And then you have the political class. These are two entirely separate entities. The political class of Israel belongs in Basel, in Geneva. That's where they're from. Yeah. The Jews are from Israel.
I feel that if we actually put that filter upon most countries, we'd get the same sort of
Absolutely.
We'd be able to see the same thing. The political class is so separate, and is like it all seems to be post World War II, quick capture of the political class as well. There was a lot of people who realized, okay, we can change it now. We take over now, and this is a time. And then from that point on, they've been in control.